What should I do now? How could I have done something like that? We've all had moments when regret pulls us into darkness. But in Japan, there's a quiet, time-tested way to rise from that darkness. A way not through denial or distraction, but through reflection and acceptance. Today, I'll share with you this Japanese way of finding light again, a secret that has helped countless people rediscover peace within themselves. Enrich your life with the Japanese mindset. Hello, and welcome. I'm Izuki from Discover Japanese Books, a channel where we explore Japan's most inspiring books and uncover timeless lessons that can add a new flavor to your life. Today's talk is inspired by one of Japan's most beloved books, How Do You Live?, originally written by Genzaburo Yoshino, and later beautifully adapted into a manga by Shoichi Haga. Our theme today is this: how to rise again when you're crushed by unbearable regret. In Japan, this book is nothing short of legendary. It has sold over 2 million copies, and almost every Japanese person knows its name. The original edition was published back in 1937, and even after more than 85 years, it continues to touch the hearts of new generations, from children in elementary schools to adults seeking meaning in their busy lives. What makes it so powerful is how deeply it speaks to the Japanese sense of identity. That quiet voice inside that asks, am I truly living the right way? For many of us in Japan, this book feels less like a story and more like a compass, guiding us toward what it really means to live with integrity. So today, let's explore this question together. When we're overwhelmed by regret, what should we do? Let me start with the conclusion. When you're trapped in deep regret, there are two powerful Japanese ways to rise from the darkness. The first is to realize that we have the power to shape our own lives. The second is to recognize that the world moves forward through the will of each individual, one intention connecting to another. Sounds a bit abstract, doesn't it? Don't worry, I'll explain what these ideas truly mean. Let's begin with the first idea, realizing that we have the power to shape our own lives. This simple truth sounds obvious, yet in moments of regret or despair, it's the very thing we tend to forget. Let me ask you a question. What do you think truly separates humans from other animals? Sure, we look different, we can speak, we build societies. But according to Yoshino, the author of How Do You Live?, there's something much deeper. He says that only humans can recognize their own mistakes, and suffer because of them. Animals can feel physical pain, from a wound, or from being burned. But only humans can feel moral pain, the pain of realizing, I could have chosen differently. It's because we have the ability to act according to our sense of what's right, to follow our own moral compass. And that's exactly why, when we fail to live up to it, we feel regret so deeply. Here's another example. This one compares it to the human body. When we are healthy, our organs function normally, and we rarely think about them in daily life. However, when something goes wrong, when our heart starts pounding or our stomach begins to ache, only then do we become aware of our organs and realize that something is wrong. In other words, it is thanks to pain that we become aware of the problem. Feeling pain and realizing that there's something wrong with our body means that pain is actually telling us that our body is not in its normal condition. It's the same with our hearts. When our hearts ache and feel tight with pain, it allows us to grasp what it truly means to be human. By nature, every person is meant to grow their talents and live in a way that matches those abilities. When that doesn't happen, we feel pain and frustration. When we feel miserable or hopeless, it's because deep down, we know that human beings are not meant to live in such misery. That's exactly why we suffer, because our pain reminds us of how we are supposed to be. At such times, we humans often try to make excuses to protect ourselves. We say things like, it was his fault, or, I just didn't have enough time. We blame other people, or time, or circumstances. But the author reminds us, what truly matters is turning our focus inward. Many people, when they're suffering or filled with regret, start worrying about how others see them. What will people think of me? What if they start to dislike me? But that's not what we should be thinking about. What matters is asking ourselves, what can I do? After all, other people's opinions are something we can never control. That's why we must not point the arrow outward, but inward, toward ourselves. Because only human beings have the power to shape their own destiny. Dogs and cats don't have that. Even when life feels hopeless, remember this. The pain and regret you feel exist because you already know what the right path looks like, and you're simply suffering from the distance between who you are and who you want to be. Once you realize that, your heart will begin to feel lighter, and you'll find yourself slowly emerging from the darkness. Goethe once said, "We have the power to decide our own path." That's why we sometimes make mistakes. But because we have that same power, we also have the strength to rise again from our mistakes. Deep down, you already know what's right, what it means to act as a true human being. So, take that awareness, and choose your own path forward with conviction. The second Japanese way to rise from the darkness of regret is to recognize that the world moves forward through the will of each individual, each intention quietly connecting to another. Let me ask you something. Who do you think stands higher as a human being? Someone with great academic ability, or someone who doesn't? What about the rich and the poor? How do we measure a person's true worth? Everyone has their own answer, so there may never be a single, right, one. But the author of How Do You Live? Offers a powerful perspective. He says that what truly matters is not how much we consume, but how much we create, how much we contribute to others, to society, and to the world around us. And creating doesn't just mean producing goods. It includes knowledge, art, kindness, and effort. That's why looking down on those who quietly work for others, even in difficult, low-paying jobs, shows how little we understand about what it means to live with integrity. The author reminds us of a painful truth. Those who suffer the most when their health fails are often the very ones living in the harshest conditions. That's why, if you're in a position where you can study freely, develop your talents, and live without major obstacles, you should pause for a moment and realize just how fortunate that truly is. In other words, it isn't the wealthy or the highly educated who truly move the world. Nor does their status define their worth as human beings. True value lies in those who create, in those who use their will and effort to make the world a better place. Earlier, we talked about how your feelings of regret or inner struggle can actually be signs that you're trying to move in the right direction. And it's exactly that struggle, that decision to move forward, that can change not only your own life, but also the world and community around you. So don't see regret as something negative. It's proof that you care, that you're alive, growing, and connected to something greater. Each of us is part of society. Each of us has the power to shape it. And when we stop merely consuming and begin creating, that's when we finally find our way out of the darkness. As we've explored today, there are two powerful Japanese ways to rise from the darkness of regret. Unlike many self-help books, this one doesn't tell you to work out more or wake up early. It doesn't give you a checklist of things to do. So you might be wondering, then what am I supposed to do? You might even feel more lost than before. But remember this. It's because you're human that you struggle, doubt, and despair. And that very despair is often a sign that your heart is trying to move in the right direction. So instead of denying the part of you that regrets or suffers, focus on what you can do, right now, in this moment. It won't be easy, you may hesitate, or even want to give up. But every small action you take, every moment of courage, connects quietly to others, and together, those connections move the world forward. That's why you matter. That's why your struggle has meaning. And maybe, just maybe, holding on to that mindset is enough to let a little light break through the fog inside your heart. So, what did you think of today's video? As I mentioned at the beginning, this book wasn't a sudden bestseller. It's a work that has quietly touched the hearts of Japanese people for more than 80 years. When I read it myself, I found so many moments that made me stop and reflect. Moments that deeply resonated with the Japanese spirit. How about you? How does this way of thinking compare to the ideas and bestsellers in your own country? On this channel, I introduce Japanese books that offer insights into the Japanese way of living, from traditional values to modern trends. Because, let's be honest, there aren't many chances to learn directly from Japanese books, right? I regularly release new videos, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next one. Also, if there's anything about Japan you're curious about or want to know more deeply, please leave a comment below. I'd love to make videos based on your ideas. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Until next time, see you again soon.